Thanks so much for being here today. It's super exciting. I'm Chip Giller, the Executive Director and co-founder of Agog. If you're new to Agog, we are a philanthropic organization that helps people use immersive media to imagine and build a better world. My background is as a climate journalist. I founded the climate news organization grist.org and ran it for a couple of decades. 2 years ago, Wendy Schmidt and I launched Agog because we know that data and information alone don't move people. On the other hand, we've seen how immersive media can shift people from observer to participant. Reading about glaciers melting, for example, is totally different from standing on a melting glacier. Not everyone can travel to do that, of course, but immersive media can get anyone pretty darn close. People can know something is real and urgent. Their brains may understand the urgency, but they don't feel it in a way that moves them to act. That gap is where Agog lives. Immersive tools are about feeling and experiencing things in visceral ways. And the fact that you're all here with us on this call leads me to think that you believe in the power of this emerging medium as well. Which is great because today we're really excited to use this space to talk about Agog's first open call, Climate Futures and Immersive Media. The open call is a $1 million funding initiative to support projects that help people connect more deeply to climate challenges and imagine new pathways for action. Over the past 2 years at Agog, we've had the privilege of working closely with creators, storytellers, nonprofit organizations, and cultural leaders to explore the possibilities of immersive media for social good. It's amazing to say that so far we've committed $6.5 million in grants to support immersive media projects that aim to bring about a better world. This open call builds on our early learnings and we hope welcomes many newcomers to immersive media. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nisha Kadaba, our Director of Programs, to tell you more about the open calls. Come on board, Nisha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nisha, and I'm the new Director of Programs at Agog. I joined in January, and I am thrilled to be here and really excited to give you an overview of the open call today. And then my colleague Jasmine Askew, our Program Manager, will speak to our eligibility and the application itself. Then we'll open it up to Q&A. If you wouldn't mind holding your questions till the end, we'd appreciate it. As Chip talked about, we know climate change can often feel overwhelming or distant. We believe immersive media offers a unique opportunity to help people not only understand and feel these challenges more deeply, but also imagine pathways toward action, resilience, and hope. Next slide, please. We are looking for projects that understand climate realities, feel connected to the issue, imagine better futures for all, and participate in collective action. Next slide, please. We'll be awarding grants from $25,000 to $200,000 across a range of stages, from early concept to more developed projects. Funding is available to storytellers, activists, artists, organizers, technologists, and other creative teams with ideas on how to move people from understanding climate action through immersive media. So in short, projects do not need to be fully built. Applicants do not need to be XR experts. Experimental formats are very welcome. And again, grants are offered from $25,000 to up to $200,000. These are the themes and areas of interest we're looking for, but noting that these are not strict categories. We're also excited to see the brilliant ideas you all put forward and how you can use immersive media to address these really important climate issues. With climate storytelling and civic participation, these are place-based immersive experiences that help people viscerally understand climate change and inspire meaningful civic engagement, organizing, and collective action. Community power and resilience. These are resources that put real-time information, coordination capacity, and decision-making power in the hands of frontline communities before, during, and after climate disasters. With access and equity, we're looking for projects that center communities most impacted by climate disasters and explore pathways for repair, sovereignty, and community-led climate leadership. With planetary connection, We're looking for projects that look at the face of climate anxiety and use tools and experiences that support and deepen meaningful connection to the natural world through immersive media. Future building and world design include projects that help us expand our collective imagination to envision a more livable, connected, and thriving future. And also, we're looking for your brilliant ideas here. Bold, imaginative approaches that we haven't yet thought of that expand what climate participation can mean and feel like for the public good. We're intentionally broad and exploratory in how we define immersive media. For this open call, we are looking for projects that use augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, spatial audio, smart glasses content, social XR experiences, and projects that are multi-platform. Our whole team is so excited to see what new ideas, collaborations, and experiences emerge from creators and communities across the country. So who should apply? We're especially excited that this opportunity is designed not only for experienced XR creators, but also for mission-driven organizations and storytellers who may be newer to immersive media, but have powerful stories, relationships, and ideas to bring forward. Strong climate expertise and a compelling idea is just as valuable as technical XR experience. We're also thrilled to have a stellar group of XR experts and climate leaders on our review for the Open Call Committee. Here are all the fantastic people who will be reviewing your submissions. These are the people who will be poring over your application materials, and in the coming months, we're grateful for their partnership and expertise. And with that, I will turn it over to Jasmine Askew, our wonderful program manager, to dig in on the specifics.
Hi, everyone. Really excited to talk through eligibility and some application tips and tricks with you. One important thing to note is that grants must be awarded to US-based legal entities. You can apply through a fiscal sponsor, but if you don't have a fiscal sponsor, you can still apply. We just encourage applicants to start thinking about the partnerships and the support structures that they'll need if funded. For anyone unfamiliar with a fiscal sponsor, it's a common arrangement that allows independent creatives, artists, journalists, creative teams to receive a grant through a nonprofit organization. If this applies to you, we don't want it to be a barrier, and we're really happy for you to support you sourcing this nonprofit towards the end of your application is selected. Next slide. So what makes a strong proposal? The strongest applications will clearly answer 5 questions. Why this story? Why now? Why immersive media? Why this audience? And why your team? We're looking for compelling climate stories, thoughtful uses of immersive media, a clear audience and impact pathway, realistic execution plans, and meaningful community relationships. Next slide. What we're not looking for. So a few things to avoid. We're really looking for technology that has a clear purpose. So avoid submitting proposals that don't. Projects should be connected to climate. We also don't want to see projects that have an unclear audience plan or that don't really have a benefit of being immersive. We really care about the strength of the idea, like Nisha mentioned, even more than novelty of the technology. Next slide. Applying. So the application itself is fairly straightforward. It focuses on understanding your organization, your project, audience, budget, timeline, and the support needed. We also ask you to share any additional materials that will help us better understand your vision. But all in, this is a highlight of some of the sections of the application. Some other things to note are that you'll need to create an account on Submittable, the application platform, but you can save your work on this platform and return later. Once an application is submitted, you won't be able to edit it, but you can edit it throughout the process, and you can also invite collaborators to edit the application with you through a shared link. Next slide. So budget and funding expectations. As mentioned, funding will range from $25,000 to $200,000 grants. For some projects, that may cover the full effort, the full project. For others, it may support a specific phase of the work. Early stage concepts are welcome as a part of this call, and rough budget estimates are perfectly fine if you're still refining your plans. Slide. So some reminders and an overview of the timeline. So as you're preparing your application, please be as concrete and specific as possible. Help us really understand the participant experience. Help us understand why immersive media is the right fit for this and how you plan to reach your audience. Applications are open now and they'll close on June 12th. And we are not accepting late applications under any circumstance. So I really recommend that you get your applications in soon. Funding decisions will be announced in the fall. And applications are going to be reviewed by Agog staff and external reviewers, as Nisha highlighted. Some applicants may even be invited to follow-up conversations. So really do your best to fill in your applications as detailed as possible, but know that a part of this process will also include continued conversations to understand your work. Next slide. Thank you all for spending some time with us today. We know this was a lot of information. So this slide has some additional resources. We hope that we've given you an overview to start your process of applying. And we're really excited to use the rest of this time to take questions to really help you on this journey of applying for our open call. So at this point, I'd like to invite Amy Seidenworm, our Chief of Programs and Strategy, to join me in answering questions live. Go.
Hi. Hey, everybody. Good to see so many people here. This is so exciting.
All right. So we'll be taking questions through the Q&A feature, not the chat function. So make sure that your questions are in there. I'm going to go through and then I will invite you to come and ask your question live. So
there's a little Q&A button at the bottom of your screen.
Yes. And if a question is anonymous, I'll just read it out loud. So I'm actually going to start with an anonymous attendee who asked if indirect costs are allowable. So indirect costs are allowable. We don't have recommendations or caps or limits. So make sure to include that in your funding estimate. And as we get closer to deciding on final grants, we'll work with applicants on a more detailed budget and can specify anything related to your indirect costs at that point in time, but definitely include them, and they're fully fine to include in this budget. Okay. Next question. Let's see. So Daniel Enking, you have a question. Did you want to come off live and answer, or come off mute and answer that question live?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Great. I just had a question about, for our project, we're a for-profit company, but we're leading a social impact project with a coalition of nonprofits. And I was just wondering about the requirement for the entity that is submitting the application. Is it more favorable for a nonprofit to submit that, or does it matter if the for-profit submits the application?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I see you have another question here too, and we may as well answer it while it's here, which is, can you submit multiple proposals? And that answer is yes. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Applicants can submit as many proposals as possible for different projects. We look forward to reading them. Okay, let's see. Next question. Umbretta, did you want to ask your question live?
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yes, excellent. So I'm collaborating with a nonprofit in Italy. I'm based in Miami, and the possibility would be a project that would happen across the two different countries and different venues. Is that possible? Do we need to only apply focusing on the site in the US, or can we apply for the overall project?
I think it's totally fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Do we want to invite Mark Fraunfelder to ask his questions? Because I'd like to see his face because I know him.
Sure. Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Going well. I don't see my own face, but if you can see me, hey everybody. Yeah, so it's great to see you, Amy. My
Likewise.
question is, if we have like early, stage projects, what kind of level of detail are we going to need for like the budget and
I think the answer is as much as possible, but we're super open to funding ideas, maybe more in an R&D stage and letting you flesh it out as you discover.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Sure, good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Another similar question from Josie Davis about how big are the scope of the projects. Asking about, we're in an early stage concept of the project. So just want to underscore what Amy said of being in, it's not about the scope of the project. Being at an early stage is perfectly fine. We're likely to offer R&D funding, where there's no sort of specification or any weight given to projects that either are at a certain stage or already have a certain amount of funding locked in.
This isn't really a question, but I wanted to just kind of comment on Taylor and a couple other people who have posted in chat about wanting to collaborate with potentially other people on this call. And we have a Discord. I think Vanessa has dropped that link a couple of different times, but people are really gathering there to collaborate and kind of pair up. So that might be the best place to post that, Taylor, and anybody else that wants to find partners. Thanks, Vanessa.
Okay, I'll just take another question. So, Francisco, not sure if Almendra, if you want to ask your question about local communities or if you'd like me to just read it out and answer it live.
Yes, hi, can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, perfect. So, okay, I have a two-pronged question. The first one is, we are a Brazil-based small XR studio that has a lot of climate experience, and we're collaborating with a fiscal sponsor in the US. So the question is, the climate issues, do they have to be US-based or US-based narratives, or can we talk about climate from a more international perspective? That's the first question. And second, if we can speak about climate on a broader sense, instead of focusing on specific local issues with communities, can we take a broader stance for broader behavior change?
So we definitely welcome ideas that look at a broader context and non-centralized issues. And it's also okay to apply with things that are internationally focused and not the content being specified to the US. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does perfectly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Jasmine, I see a question I don't know the answer to, but I bet you do. From Sarah Shat. Sarah, do you want to ask it or you want me to just ask it?
Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, shocked actually, like I am.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No worries. Yeah, so you had mentioned that the approvals would happen in the fall. Is there a month for that? Our event is happening in August, like mid-August. Would that be too soon for your guys' timeline?
August is a little bit before the fall, so
okay.
I can't guarantee that we'd get you a decision by then.
Okay.
And I think even if we had a decision, it would be hard to actually process your grant in time for that.
Gotcha. So, okay.
Next year.
Okay. No, thank you for that. It was very helpful.
All right. Another one, Amy?
Do we have one? How about from Anonymous, are private foundations 501c3s eligible to apply? I think that's a big yes, right?
Yes. Yeah, as long as you have a legal entity based in the US, you can apply. That includes academic institutions, nonprofits of various structures, corporations, studios. As long as you have a US-based legal entity, we will figure it out.
Do I hear from Dr. Peter Duran?
Yes.
Dr. Peter, are you here?
You hear me?
Hi.
So I was wondering about the availability before the deadline. Would members or a member of your technical team be prepared to bounce off some ideas? We're interested in something that's quite experimental, and we'd be interested in the appropriate technological platforms to explore indigenous approaches to the more than human and how they can share those ontologies. But we're a bit limited in terms of our experience of the actual platforms that might be useful for those experiences of an ontological shift and perspective. Is it something that you'd be prepared to talk about before the deadline?
I think you have a couple of options here. You can sign up for our office hours, and then you could get somebody who can advise you a little bit on that. But I'm going to keep on hammering on the Discord, where we do have folks who are answering questions from our team all the time, and we're happy to give you any advice that doesn't, tip the scales in anybody's favor. But those are your best bets. And I think there's information about office hours in the chat, or will be in a second as soon as Vanessa pastes it.
That's great, thanks.
Jasmine, will awards be processed as grants or gifts? Is that a grant?
Yes, they'll be processed as grants and gifts. We'll figure out the actual funding structures for each individual situation once we narrow down our finalists. Somebody asked if this grant can fund an immersive experience that has already happened, but in a limited way, in hopes that it can be scaled and amplified. And yes, impact campaigns or additional distribution or porting of an experience can also be submitted as a part of this open call. So we look forward to seeing that.
Nimrod, do you want to ask your question? I don't actually totally understand what you're asking, so it might be a good one to just ask in chat. Sorry, Ty, to just throw these at you. She's trying to make you live, Nimrod, right now. Let's see his face. There he is.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
We're working with a fiscal sponsor, and I'm just trying to make their lives easier by making the application and filling everything myself. Is that possible? Can I do all the work and they just sign it off? Do they have to create their own subliminal or whatever it's called?
Submittable, but no, you can and should submit your application, and just there's a field in the application to list your fiscal sponsor, and you should list them there.
Okay, but I'm not based in the US. They are. So
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
You as the project creatives, owners, team leading this should submit your applications. You have all the answers and all of the detail on your project. Yeah. And then there's a question to list your fiscal sponsor, and we just want to make sure that you all list it there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Just to clarify, we're not requiring even people who are applying with their academic research institution. You, the researcher, can fill in your application and just list your fiscal sponsor there. You don't need your research administrator, for example, or your fiscal sponsor to be the one filling in your applications.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Let's take questions from Hayun and Kate, but in the meantime, maybe we can answer anonymous question. Is a VR version of another non-VR game that's still in production allowable? And that's a big yes. Sure. You want to just answer these, or
I don't know that I can see the same ones. So either either read it out or
okay.
let them come off chat.
I mean, Pete McCollum has a question. Can both a nonprofit and a company apply as a team? And I don't see why not.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we're encouraging, is for a nonprofit and a company to work on a project together and apply as a team. And so you would just list your nonprofit where it says like fiscal sponsor in the application. And that is exactly what we would love to see.
Thank you. Our nonprofit also offers fiscal sponsorship. I put that in the feed if anyone needs or is interested. I don't know if it's appropriate to say that. But
that's great.
Yeah, we've fiscally sponsored immersive projects before, so we have some history around this format.
Cool. It might be even better to post that info in Discord because people are trying to find partners there.
Okay.
Hayun, are you online?
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I saying your name right?
I have the misconnection of my micro. So I have a mixed reality project with hand tracking. So I wanted to use the movement to create the connection between environment and our body. So it's more physical experience and poetical experience than narrative. So I wanted to ask you if you are expecting a heavy narrative speaking really focus on environment with the words, or body gesture could be included in this open call.
I think as long as the overarching theme is about climate, that it's okay to tell your story any way you want.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sure.
An anonymous attendee asked if they can list unnamed staff positions as a part of their budget. And yes, you can. I just want to clarify, for the actual application itself, you're not submitting a budget. You're submitting an overall project budget and then a funding request, the specific amount that you're looking for a grant for. If chosen as one of our grant selections by our review committee, we'll look at a detailed budget then. But here you are just supplying the total amount of the budget, but you should factor those things in. You should factor in overhead costs, indirect fees, staff, equipment, all of that into your project budget. So just wanted to answer that overall.
Hey, Brian, we've had a request from somebody to go back to the slide of what we're looking for. And do we want to just, we will, Jordan, have that information. We'll have all that in our Discord, and we'll also have this recording available later. But if we want to throw it up on the screen for a couple seconds, that's totally fine too, if somebody's got answers. I think we can that's, I think, what you're looking for. Cool. All right. You can go back to Jasmine and my mugs. Felicia wants to know about technical support. Do you want to, well, we can just answer that, or I guess she's coming. Felicia?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes.
Yep.
Hi. So we have projects across, we're engaging 4 of our projects in 4 different African countries, and they're youth climate adaptation. And so we have some technical support in VR knowledgeable people, but we definitely need more. And so in addition to money, funding, where can we be connected to experts in the VR arena?
Absolutely. If you're selected, we will be happy to, suggest people to work with you. And we have some expertise in-house that we would also be happy to share.
Perfect.
Some anonymous person asked what format for budget is preferred, line, itemized, or total cost. As specific as you can get with us is better. And if it's not very specific, we're probably going to ask you later for information if we're considering you. What else?
Scrolling through. A lot of these have been answered. Yeah, a lot of these have been answered. Will science and data-based games that fit the general Agog mission be considered immersive in terms of your definition of the term? As Nisha mentioned, we are defining immersive broadly and looking forward to seeing what you all create. So yes, if it fits the theme of this climate project, we recommend that you submit it. There's a lot of questions about that, about, what if we use a specific camera? Is that an immersive platform? Or even about climate themes. Is plastic pollution compatible? What about speculative futures? And I would say, yes, at this stage, we are really open to seeing. We've shared our areas of interest. We've shared general sort of examples, but we don't intend for them to be strict categories. We're excited to see a range of approaches and interpretations. And so we really just encourage everyone to apply. Any other questions rising to the top for you, Amy?
Yeah, Marianne has a question. She's available to ask it, or I can just answer it without. Marianne Golden. I mean, the answer, Marianne, is yes. Projects that imagine speculative futures are indeed eligible. And we're excited to see them. Oh, there you are.
Thank you. Here I am. Sorry. Yeah, I'm interested in exactly that, the kind of storytelling of speculative possibilities as also intertwined with other areas like critical theory or computation. So the overlaps of climate with those other thematic aspects.
I think that sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Betsy Byers asks, will this become an annual call, or do you anticipate this to be a unique call? I'm going to go on a limb and say I don't know if it's going to be exactly annual, but I think this kind of thing is something we want to do regularly.
Someone asked a question. I've seen a few about timeline. So would we be okay with a project that has a development timeline of a year? Someone else asked when the project should be finished by. And so just to say that we intend to fund a range of work. Some projects will be extended distribution plans, like someone mentioned previously. Some will be things that are at concept stage, and so therefore they need R&D funding. Some will be projects that are going to take 6 months, 10 months, 9 months, a year. For this open call, we are designing it intentionally broad. Grants will take a one-year basis, as in like a year from receiving the grant is when we would be sort of reporting on the outcomes, but the outcome may not necessarily be the entire full project is funded. So I would think about the phase that your project is in now, the phase that you're thinking about you need funding for, and just communicate in your application materials, we're requesting funding for XYZ, versus thinking about a specific outcome that we're looking for, because we intend to fund a range of work at a range of stages.
I'm also seeing a question, anonymous question. If an immersive experience has already happened, but in a limited way and seeks to be scaled and amplified, would it be eligible? And yeah, sure. And I do kind of want to stress that point that not everything here needs to be a brand new project. It might be funds to install it somewhere, or funds to make it better, or make it, usable on current technology, or whatever. Like, these don't have to all be world premiere projects.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, again, are we looking for dome or shared reality formats? Yes, sure.
Krishna has a question if she's around. Krishna Chodur. I think we've answered this question already, but Krishna is an artist and researcher in India, and she wants to know if she can still apply. And I think the answer there is you need to be working with a US-based partner on this project if you're in India.
Hi, thank you so much for answering, Amy.
Oh, hi.
I will look for somebody in the Discord group. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Thank you for coming. Someone's looking for the Discord link, and you should be able to find it if you just scroll in chat. And I bet Vanessa's going to post it again any second.
And you can always just go to agog.org/Discord.
There it is.
/Discord. Let's see. If we don't have a technical partner yet, as you just mentioned, will it be assumed that the support is incremental to the grant award budget request? No, you should include, if you have a budget in mind for how much the technical capacity will cost, you should include that. If you don't have it, just know that will be a conversation as a part of final grant decisions, and in thinking through your more detailed budget. Our team is very used to looking at budgets and saying, hey, this doesn't have this technical skill set, or here's the range that you would need. And all of those things will be factored in with our finalists at that point in time. So it's completely fine to submit your sort of support request and Agog request. And if you feel like you need to explain in more detail what you've accounted for or not, use the supplemental materials section and you can explain. We don't have the technical expertise yet. We would want coaching or mentorship on that, or we've already sourced a team that will help with the technical aspect and it's in the budget. So we know that there will be a range. And again, this is like intentionally designed to be open and welcoming to both experienced XR creators and not. And so just know that we're taking all of that into account. I want everyone to feel confident that they can apply, even if they don't have, give us your best answers versus knowing that you're going to have detailed answers to every single thing at this point. So if you don't have a technical partner, do your best to give us your expected project cost and funding requests, and just know that we will help redefine that if selected as a final grantee.
Should we take Kim Nucci's question and in the meantime try and find an anonymous one while we get them to ask?
Sure.
One anonymous person asked, how collaborative will the execution of the reward be with Agog? For example, for a project that currently has no venue, could Agog help locate a partner or venue? We would certainly try to help you, as we do with all of our grantees. So if you had a project, yeah, we would try and make it as successful as possible in partnership with you.
Hi.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I was curious if like partial funding was like a possibility, like if we asked for 200K, but you guys might award like a partial for that ask. Like, is that I've had that happen with grants before, so I was just wondering if that's something with this one and kind of how one would like indicate like if we need like it won't happen if we get the full amount, if we don't get the full amount requested, or if we have some flexibility there.
That will be a conversation that we'll have directly if chosen as like a finalist for the project. So we would be asking about the budget. If there was, we're able to commit this much, that would definitely be a part of the conversation. So I wouldn't worry about specifying that in your application materials, but you can if you would like to.
Sure. And just a quick question to follow up on that. In the application materials, if should we be outlining like some like ballpark costs for like team and like different segments of the development, or like as part of the proposal, or is that the budget that comes later?
If that's a part, you can add that to your pitch materials if you have it, but it's not required. If you look at the application questions, they just ask for a budget amount and project budget.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Jamie Pereira has a question. It's a good one.
Which one?
Is it Jamie or Jaime?
It's Jamie. Thanks.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at your one about how political you can be, but feel free to ask us whatever.
Yeah, my project is kind of, it uses data sonification to place us in the present after going through 12,000 years of data. And that is a clear sort of indication with on a multi sort of faceted data way that we need to confront some really, really big things. So it was just a question about, I don't think I need to lean in a particular direction or anything. It's just a general question in terms of how much do you want things to be, challenging the status quo, because that's really the sort of elephant in the room that's always behind climate change issues.
I don't think we're afraid of being a little edgy in order to get people to think.
How edgy is a little edgy? This is what my question is. Like, it's a very difficult one. There was another question that I asked about whether we get some of the famous Agog socks. So I feel like it's that's an easy one to answer. On the other side of things. But yeah, it's a tricky one. This one.
I don't know, Jamie. I kind of think the first rule of getting Agog socks is not talking about Agog socks. Do you already have Agog socks?
Yeah, I do actually. It was a welding event in 2025, but maybe I shouldn't talk about that.
No, I'm giving you a hard time. That might be part of our support for a project, would be to making sure everybody has proper hosiery.
And going back to the first question, like it might be good for that to be an open conversation as we go through things.
For sure, but just know that I don't think I'm afraid based on what you've said so far.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much.
Someone asked a question, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically of how much does a project need to lead with climate versus nature and conservation, and would land use and development pressure read as climate to our committee? I think our committee is open to a range of interpretations of climate impact and what will move people to action and awareness. So I would definitely recommend applying.
There's a question from Ava that's just asking, can she be an individual artist with fiscal sponsorship? And I would say yes, as long as that fiscal sponsorship is a US-based sponsor. Let's look.
Should we include ongoing software maintenance costs in the budget? Yes, if that is a part, if you are applying for a project and that's a part of the stage that you're at and what you need to execute right now, then yes, please include it.
There's a question from Katya Abazajian. Sorry if I said that wrong. Do you want to ask it?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I was just wondering, I'm applying on behalf of a community art museum, and this would be, been interested in doing a spatial sound exhibit for a long time, but this would be our first time doing it in our space. And so we're wondering, because we're a little bit less advanced on the technical side, are there specific technologies that would make this qualify as like an immersive media exhibit, or could it be like any, you know, configuration of like 3D sound experience?
It really depends on how you're using 3D sound, but I don't think it should be a big hurdle to bump it up to spatial sound. It's a different microphone, but other than that, I don't think it's a really big lift to go to spatial, but we are excited to see whatever you submit. So if that's your hurdle, please submit and we'll talk about it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
A bunch of people have asked if we'll be sharing a recording in this webinar, and yes, we will. And we will email all the people who registered for this webinar with that link, but you can also find it on Discord.
Someone asked if an application involves multiple organizations or entities, how should it be processed? One central applicant should submit the application, and there's a space to list out all of the partners that are involved, and I would list them there. That person doesn't need to continually be the point of contact. If the point of contact shifts later on, that's completely fine, but please have one central person submit the application. We are
going to queue up Hector Fan, and then we can answer, is team compensation allowed? Sure. Yep. Can you submit 2 different proposals for the same project?
No.
It says one, for example, 1 could be for early phase scope and 2 would be for completed prototype. I think we would want to see one proposal per project.
Yeah.
Hector Fan, can we bring Hector online?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So I just wanted to confirm that so we do have identified a physical sponsor, but because the sponsor they require like membership fee. So we wonder if we can apply, and when we confirm we're selected, then we apply for the membership, because we do not want to pay for the membership if we're not selected.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Okay. And I have a second question. So my project is focused on actually cultural heritage, but like our lens is from like how can climate change affect the cultural heritage? So in that case, does the project still be considered within the scope of the climate future?
That seems great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
We're about 7 minutes out, so maybe 1 or 2 more questions.
There's one from Ben Lockman that we could answer if he wants to ask it.
Hey, folks.
Hi.
So I think the one you're talking about is probably the, like, what's the bar for immersive?
Yep.
We're starting a new field building organization that we really want to be like very digital first. And we're exploring a bunch of different things that we can build right now within climate stabilization, which is kind of pretty bleeding edge, I would say. But, you know, a lot of it is like potentially like more data-based storytelling, which may or may not, you know, like be immediately kind of immersive. What, like, I guess, are there any projects that you would say, yeah, that's not immersive, like doesn't apply, or, you know, what would you say no to? You've said yes to a lot of things, which is great and awesome, and I appreciate it. But like, what would you say no to?
I would personally think we would likely say no to a video that only exists on a screen, like that isn't interactive and could just as easily be, you know, on your TV. Just like a podcast that doesn't have any immersive elements and isn't spatial. I mean, it's a fun game to play, but I think if you have any understanding of or like experience with immersive, just because you're not wearing like a VR headset doesn't mean that it doesn't feel immersive or that you're being transported or kind of brought into somebody else's world without being together. So I think apply and we will evaluate it. But I'd love to hear about new things that we haven't thought about.
Yeah. No, I think that like interactive piece being the kind of like initial bar is a great, like, that's a great yardstick for just starting. Thank you.
Sure.
Somebody asked if the funding request and other support received will add up to match overall project budget. We're not committing to supporting your entire project budget for certain. In some cases, again, the funding will. In some cases, it will be supporting a portion of the project or a specific stage. So just wanted to answer that one really quickly.
Ken Musin asked, can a company be associated with and complete more than one application? Totally, just as long as it's not the same project.
Someone asked, Carol asked, our experience has more than one immersive component, spatial audio, on location, VR. Should this be 2 applications or included in one application per project? Even if you have different potential audiences for like the VR versus the spatial audio aspect, it's one project and that should just be communicated in the application. The project will have these 2 components and here are the audiences for it and how we plan to reach them, basically.
Sutu asks, if your project is intended for installation within a specific immersive venue, is it important to have a support letter from the venue? I would say it's great to have it and to talk about where you intend or hope to show your work, but I don't think it's necessary.
Agreed. At this stage, I think as much as you can offer in the application will be incredibly helpful, but we also don't want anything to be a blocker or deterrent to being able to apply. So if you can detail the partnership conversations that are in process, are happening, that's great. And when we get to a stage of working with finalists, we'll, be able to gather even more detailed information, see support letters, etc. But we just don't want anything to be a blocker at this point. So.
One other anonymous person, which is, I think, it was the last question in the chat till just a second ago. Is it okay if the work is being produced in a variety of formats? For example, a video piece that can be adapted to VR, 360, etc. Yes. It can be in multiple formats, and it might not all be immersive, and that's cool.
I think that's a great note to end on. Unless there's another question that you've got at the tip of your tongue, Amy.
Nope.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone so much for all of your time.
Thank you.
Walking through this. We hope to see all of your applications.
All the info should be on your screen now. If you need, a lot of people have asked for the Discord link, and also it's on our website. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks everyone for coming. And yeah, you can ask additional questions in the Discord as well. Also by emailing the grants alias that's listed on the screen. And we have some office hours that you can also sign up for if your question is not on the FAQ or answered in these two channels. So thanks everyone.
Can't wait to see what you send us. Bye.